Hello, welcome to our first video in our 3D AutoCAD clip. Now, our first video here, we're just going to simply show you how to make a simple extrusion in 3D. We're going to mess around with a little bit. Now, it automatically defaults when you open AutoCAD to have this grid in the background. I don't use it. I'm just going to simply turn it off. I push my F7 key and it should go away. Boing. It's all gone. Now, just turn my grid off. Now to draw, I'm simply going to draw a rectangle tool. Now if I just come here and pick my rectangle and draw it out like that, I have a rectangle, square in this case. Now, because it's a square, it has certain properties. It is a polyline. In other words, all four lines are connected. They share traits, they share common points, they're on a common plane, so it recognizes that as a closed polyline. Now, if I do the same thing with a circle out here, it's again a polyline. It's all connected. If I want to be a little more difficult or make it more generic, or not even generic, a more abstract shape, I can do it with a polyline. Now I'll just go out here and I'm just going to make up a couple of random shapes. I'm just going to click around for a minute and make something that's just completely random. I'm just tell it to close. So there, I've got this shape, this amoeba looking thing. I've got a square and I've got a circle. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to extrude this. Now think of extrusion as playing with Play-Doh. You put the Play-Doh in the press, you put the little shape on the front of your press, and as you push down on the handle, the Play-Doh comes out the little hole in whatever shape it is that you put in front of that hole. That's what we're going to do. In this case, our shape is the square or the circle or this piece, whichever one we wanted. Now, from there, I'm going to extrude it. So I'm simply going to go in here and I'm going to type in the command extrude. Now, I learned DOS, so I still use a lot of DOS commands. There is a menu for this, but right now we're just going to simply stick with the DOS. So I'm going to go extrude and I'm going to click on that, and now I don't know how far to make it go. I can't tell. But I'm just going to type in a distance. I'm typing 4.5. Nothing changed. You look at my square, it's the same. Now, again, I'm going to go to an old AutoCAD command, DD viewpoint, or DD viewpoint. Now, I'm going to click myself over. I'm going to go to about 225 degrees to my left, or around to my left, and I'm going to go at about, say, 45 degrees down. Now, this lets me see things in 3D. Now I've got a wireframe of my box. Literally what happened is I had this box drawn, and when I extruded it, it came straight up like so. It's a wireframe of it. That's all it is. I can do the same thing with this polyline here or this circle here. But we're going to try something a little different. So we're going to go ahead and mess with our UCS for a minute. UCS is very, very handy. But in this case, I'm going to tell it to do a 3-point UCS. Okay, so actually let's just do an object UCS. Say I go to this side and this. So now if I look at it and I go to my plan view, my current UCS, I now have that. I'm looking at the side of that box. So let's go in here. I'm just going to make an arc. I'm just going to make a random arc. Okay, I'm just going to go here, here, and drag it around like so. There somewhere. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my plan view. I can do that with my DD viewpoint, or I can come over here and use our navigator box over here. So I'm just going to go over here. So there's my 3D arc. Now, if I go extrude again, and I pick my circle, now I can change my mode. Solid, surface, etc. I'm going to leave it as solid. But I'm also going to tell it to do a path. So I'm going to type in P. So I just type in P and press enter, and I select this polyline right there. It's going to follow that right there, which is what it did. Now, all I've got is a circle and another circle with this line connecting them. That doesn't show anything else. Well, here's why. It's trying to save memory. So if I type in the word command, or the hide command, it's going to hide that, so it shows me what this surface really looks like. That's what it gives. It gives me all the vertices it calcs. It depends on what I've got it set to, and it hides all my lines on my cube over there. Okay, so that's not bad. Now let's change that up. If I type in shade, type in the command shade, it's going to shade it and try to render it out. It just does it in black and white. But see, it also does my surfaces and tries to rule them out so I can see what it is. Hide's great at this point, but you know what? I'm just going to go back to here and look at it for a second. I want to do something else. Now, notice it changed my background to black and white. Okay, black on with white on black. Okay, it doesn't bother me at all, but some people it does. We're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to do another extruded line just to show you some of the stuff we can do. Now, watch this. I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to make a polyline. Now, polylines are great tools with one little problem. One of the things that people do with them quite often is they edit them and turn them into a spline. Now, what happens if I extrude along this spline? Because I can do a path. So if I do extrude, and I select this shape I drew earlier, and I do a path, say this path right here, it'll follow it. But I'd have to watch out, because if my path closes on itself, or I have too tight of a curve, it will intersect itself and not work. Now, again, I can shade that out and I can see my whole piece right here. I can assign properties to it. I can do all this in AutoCAD, or excuse me, not in AutoCAD, but in Inventor or SolidWorks, and it's to a great extent easier and more user-friendly. But, like I said, AutoCAD's great. I learned to do all my drafting in AutoCAD, and I still use it for many, many, many things. But that's our introduction to AutoCAD and extrusions. Thank you.